There's been a lot of confusion about the sun and the moon ever since biblical Genesis talked about it. What happens in biblical Genesis, there's a line, and God made two great lights, one to light the day, the other to light the night. And this messed with people's head because many people thought, oh, the moon is a source of its own light. But in fact, it's only, we know today, of course, that it is purely reflected sunlight. In fact, if you're into photography and there's a full moon out and you take a time exposure of any scene at all, and if the exposure is long enough, it'll record all the colors that you would have recorded in the daytime, and that picture will end up looking like you took it in broad daylight. Because moonlight is fundamentally the same as sunlight. It's just much dimmer. But why is it the same? Because it's reflecting sunlight. All right. So with the idea that the sun lights the day and the moon lights the night, we have these poems and lore and literature and people reciting that the sun comes out in the day and the moon comes out at night. Well, the moon is out in the daytime just as often as it's out at night. No one apparently thinks to notice that. All right. So if the sun and the moon are opposite each other, the sun is fully illuminating the moon that you see. It's a full moon. If it comes around 90 degrees, then the sun is illuminating half the moon. And then you get a half moon in the sky. And if the moon comes and the angle gets narrower and narrower, you see less and less of the moon. You say a thin crescent, then you see no moon at all, otherwise known as new moon. Then the moon passes to the other side, and the crescent shows up on the other half of the moon as it works its way in its monthly orbit. If at any time you see the sun and the moon in the sky, anybody on Earth 12 time zones away from you sees neither the sun nor the moon. Period. You should think about all the times at night that you see neither the sun nor the moon. Somebody else in the world sees both of them.